Hello and welcome to the TC Exchange podcast. I'm Amity Krause, ex-retail girl turned realtor turned business owner, where I teach new transaction coordinators how to navigate the complex real estate industry and coach experienced TCs how to level up their game and businesses to add even more value to their agents. Come along with me while I guide you through this intense, complicated, but always fun world of transaction coordination. Hello and welcome back to the TC Exchange podcast. I am your host, Amity Krause, and today we are going to talk about time management. Now, I know that there's a lot of information out there about managing your time, and I often see questions from the community on how to manage multiple transactions, which in my opinion is a time management question. What we're asking is how to balance handling multiple transactions while also running a business and having a life at the same time. And that's what we're going to talk about today. What we're not going to talk about today is all the things that you've heard before, like email management strategies, transaction management software, and multitasking versus monotasking. The truth is, as a person, a human, you are going to have to find the strategies that work the best for you, for how you work, for how fast you are, how efficient you are, for how motivated or unmotivated you are. I hear a lot of this question in the real estate community. What's the best CRM, transaction management software, task management platform, email provider, and so on to use? The true answer is, are you ready for it? The true answer is the one that you'll use. Because what works for me might not work for Jane in Washington or Kim in Georgia or Joe in Florida. That's a decision that only you can make. So if you're looking for that information, get on the Google and the Facebook groups, my friend, and find out what's out there. Take the trials and try and find the one that makes sense to your brain. Now, what we will talk about is creating a system that will allow you to operate your business consistently. One where you can achieve the goals you set for yourself and your business, where you work efficiently and with purpose. A system where you can avoid procrastination and overwhelm. Now, before you design any system for your business or anything else, you need to decide what's your why. Your why can be big or small, and all that matters is that it's yours and it lights you up. Your why could be to spend more time with your family, to be a good example to your children, to help your community, to be your own boss, to take your family on a bucket list trip. Whatever it is, it has to speak to you. Now, it can change over time, but it has to speak to you. Once you know your why, then the next step is to create some commitments. Now, these almost sound like affirmations, and in a way, they are. But they are guideposts that will help you commit to your system. So some of my personal affirmations that keep me focused are, I do what I say I'm going to do. I understand that action creates clarity, and clarity boosts momentum. I am focused and productive. And this way, if you find yourself tempted to push something off or procrastinate, these can help you put your mind right back to where it needs to be. The one that really hits me hard is, I do what I say I'm going to do. The next thing that we need to talk about after commitments is boundaries. We all need them. Many of us learn the hard way what happens when you don't have boundaries. When you're starting out in your business, you might be tempted to be available to your agents 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, I would never tell you how to run your business, but in my opinion, that will set you right up for burnout. So you need to know and create boundaries about your time. Your boundaries could be, I will not work past 5 p.m. I am not available after 5 p.m. There's a difference there. I'll explain that in a second. I will only work 40 hours per week. When I'm working on this thing, maybe that's content creation, lead generation, so on, I will not allow any distractions. Now, I want to go back and say what the difference is between I will not work past 5 p.m. and I am not available after 5 p.m. I want to make this distinction here because as a business owner, especially when you're starting out, you might have to work some really crazy hours. We are scrambling, generating business. We are managing transactions. We are managing teams. We are figuring out our systems, establishing our template, like all of the things related to business. So the difference between I will not work past 5 p.m. means you will literally stop work. You're not working past 5 p.m. Then you're outside of business mode and you're in your family mode or personal time, whatever. I am not available after 5 p.m. means that you're not checking your emails, you're not answering clients, you're not doing that. That's your time for working in your business or working on your business. So that's the clarification I wanted to make between those two things. So just like knowing what tools will work best for your system, only you can decide your boundaries. And once you know what those are, stick to them the best you can. You get to decide that too. Okay, so there's the pre-work. Now we know our commitments. We know that what our boundaries are. Now we're ready to create and manage our system. And if you think about it, this system is really going to be a routine. It is going to be consistent and reliable. And here are some strategies. The first thing you're going to do is create your ideal week. What I want you to do is take a sheet of paper and break it down into 4 separate columns. At the top of each column, write one of these things in each spot. I would also suggest color coding each column to make it easier. I'll explain why in a bit. First column is CEO owner, then transaction coordination, then administrative, and then last personal time. Then in each column, write in specific tasks. For example, the CEO and owner column are just tasks that only you can do and that you do not delegate. So for the sake of this example, let's say you're a solopreneur and you do it all. That's okay. A CEO task should be or could be lead generation, networking, social media content creation. A transaction coordination task could be file intake, follow-up, compliance, etc. Anything that's about working as a transaction coordinator. An administrative task is one like emails, system audits, billing, accounts receivable, etc. And then personal time, get that written down too. Do you have a gym class that you take on certain days of the week? Do you have a regular personal appointment, lunches, picking up your kids, anything like that? Write it down. Now from here, let's go to your calendar and block it out. You could create theme days. On Tuesdays, for example, you could make it your networking day. So this would be the day that you go to networking events, make your calls, send your notes, post on social. Thursdays could be your content creation days. You create and schedule your posts and reels, you write your blog, and so on. Wednesday is heavy behind the scenes day, and you do your bookkeeping, system audits, and so on. There are a couple of things I want you to remember as you do this. First, you can break this up however you want to. You can color code. I'm coming back to that, right? So this is the color coding part. You can color code the task types and move them around how you want. You don't have to get super specific either. You can even just say that Tuesday afternoons are CEO owner time and work on whatever you want to. Like I said, this is your system and it will only work if you work it. Second, this is a template. It will change. It will probably never be perfect. It will change and adjust, and that's okay. Remember, the goal is consistency and routine. I also want you to hear me when I say this is your business. You get to decide what works for you. If it doesn't work, give yourself some grace and pivot towards something that does. It's okay, I promise. On to some tips for making this work. Here are a couple of things I suggest and that work for me. First, create a start and stop routine so that every day begins and ends the same way. When you walk into your office, to your desk, wherever your work environment is, create a routine. Mine looks something like this. First, I check my emails and I batch and sort them. Then I review my TC task list. Then I review my calendar. Then I review my 3 big things that I want to accomplish that day. It could be social media content. It could be a podcast recording. It could be a system audit. Whatever the 3 things are, they usually go along with whatever my theme is for the day. And at the end of the day, I do something similar before I walk away from my office. I review my notes and my task list from the day. Did I get everything done? I prepare for the next day. I run through my emails one more time and wrap everything up that is outstanding, and then I shut her down. Now, it is really important to know yourself and identify your patterns. It is really important to be realistic, know yourself, and identify your patterns. Be honest with yourself and your habits versus creating a calendar that just looks good. Remember, it's only good if you use it. Plan for some buffers and allow some rest. Not every second of every day needs to be planned out. Give yourself some room to step outside, allow for a meeting to go over, or even just go sit on the couch for a minute. Also, please try not to eat lunch at your desk. I promise it will all still be there. That was the very first thing that I changed when I started to own my calendar. Now, prioritize tasks and use a task management tool. So I do suggest that you do take tasks that you need to accomplish and put them into a platform. Maybe it's something like Asana, and then calendar them into your calendar so they're there. And then you can move them around. So like, for example, me, I have podcasts that I record every single week. And sometimes I have appointments with guests. So I will, in my task management platform, I will schedule out that recording and make sure that it shows up on my calendar so I know where that appointment is. I know when I'm working on that. I know when I'm working on content creation. I know when I'm working on a system audit. I know when I'm revising templates. I know when I am onboarding a new transaction coordinator or a new agent. All of those things are calendared out because I have it set up in my task management system. And then I also suggest batch as much as you can. I alluded to this a little earlier when we talked about the theme days. I do recommend that you do this so that you don't find yourself scrambling around to do something like your content creation the day of or even the week of. And if you know that you don't have the bandwidth to do slick reels or carousels, that's okay. Just get consistent posting what you can. And that's it, my friends. Thank you so much for hanging in there with me on this podcast. I have loved connecting with you every week, and I really love hearing your stories about your journeys into this world of transaction coordination. Please make sure that you like and subscribe to us and tell all your TC and Realtor friends about the TC Exchange podcast. Have an amazing week, and I'll see you next time. Same place. Bye for now. And that wraps up another episode of the TC Exchange podcast. Thank you so much for joining me and being a part of this incredible journey through the world of transaction coordination. Remember, every challenge is an opportunity to learn, and together, we're setting the compass to true north. If you want to dive deeper into the world of TCs or simply connect with our growing community, follow us on Instagram at TrueNorthTCT. For exclusive content, insights, and engaging discussions, be sure to join our Facebook group, the TC Exchange. And for resources, courses, and a treasure trove of knowledge, check out our website at truenorthtransactionservices.com. Keep the conversations going, share your insights, and until next time, keep your compass pointing true north. See you soon.